100 other
Hello, hello. Is it gonna work? It is. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Maude's Book Club. We are talking A Parade of Horribles by Matt Dinniman. This is book 8 out of a 10-book saga. Yes, we have done them all with Maude's Book Club. Yes, we will continue to do them all with Maude's Book Club. This is one of the series that we collectively love the most. And just a reminder that we are going not full spoilers. We are talking the first half of this book, up to chapter 48 or so, which I don't even think is the halfway mark. It's 47%. Just, I don't know who's playing at home. Maybe there's a teaser for something else at the end. Catch 22 coming in real hard here. Is this 22? Is this 22? You making me read out 22 names? I'll do it. I'll do it. Yes, he did. Catch 22, living up to his name.
Don't I always?
Yes,
Never.
is dropping 22 gift subs in the chat. He could have called himself Catch 7, but he had to say 22, and that's a pickle for you, not me. So he's just gifted a sub to Called Partner Chat During. What a name. Jane the Geek, Odyssey Dave, Marion Joy Santos, Kaylee, Star Pilot 6, Pantech Ode, Clone in Mud, Poppy Monroe, Scarlet Vampire, or Vampire, Awesome Bomber, MX Powers, Pianki got one, JCLL, To Me Green, or Tome Green, Bass Reflux, Aardvark, Colasso, Mr. Apples, Mel Darian, Serial O Skiller. There you go. You all got gifted a sub. If you did get one, make sure you say thank you. We're nice around here. Geordie's in the chat. Hey, Geordie. Great to see you. Congratulations again on your news. Awesome stuff. Aaron, thank you for 67 months. James, just randomly muted myself. That's awesome. James, thank you for 54 months. KP, thanks for 63 months. Faden, thanks for 68 months. You know what that tells me? We've been doing this for too fucking long. It's been going on a minute. This has really been going on a minute, hasn't it? Goodo. Oh, my swear count is 1,882.
It's been long to take all the books we've managed to read in that time.
Right?
And more,
That's
more
been the
new
fun
gifted
part. 1,882. Shit, fuck, shit, fuck, shit, fuck, fuck, shit, fuck, fuck.
So do I count that?
Deal with it. Occult still says, so chapter 48 is right around where he lost his... Yes, Carminian's at the garage. Yes, where he flips out and loses it. Correct. So up until that, because I accidentally read to chapter 50, because it said 47%, and I was going to listen to 50%. So I've gone 2 chapters over. Mark my words, we'll likely spoil it. Olga gets squished. There you go. Oh, so that's it. Is that when it ends, where it says, and they walked across the road and kablamo, or do you get the chapter after that?
48 ends with the whole...
Like a chapter or 2 after that.
How he rages out.
Yeah, 48 is like, it ends with like the hedgehog Satan being described.
Great.
Yeah.
And he calls it a bum.
Yeah.
It's 20 more? Is it 20 more? I read 49 at lunch today. Darren, I need you to, you're in timeout. I need you to really
with
think.
The hedgehog saying, "Jolly good show, pip pip," and Donut gets kind of pissy about it.
Thank you. Is the karaoke before that or after? Spoilers, it's after. It's like chapter 54 or something, 56. And everyone's calling it like that
karaoke?
chapter. So there you go, Jason. Jason just like drives by, just spoiler, and stays on his way, which I really respect. Okay, so let's talk about what's happening in book 8. We can talk a little bit about what's happened to the series up until this point. Matt Dinniman got the idea and wrote this story from the 26th of December 2020. So it has been less than 6 years, and he's written not just the 8 books of Dungeon Crawler Carl, but also Operation Bounce House, which I believe is somewhere in the shelf behind me, which was also done for Maude's Book Club. I want to quickly shout out over on TikTok. Uzi Jesus was the first comment, which was exciting. We've got Lieutenant Ginger in the chat saying, "Yay, hey Maude, sent me a peach," which I discovered is a good thing. It is a good thing. KP Dubs is in here as well. Alicia says, "Cutie pie." Lieutenant Ginger says, "I'm about to do a reread for Morrigan's book club on Sunday." Are you cheating on me? Are you cheating on me? That's okay. The more we read, the better. The more we read, the better, is what I say. And also, thank you so much, Lieutenant Ginger, for reposting or sharing the live. I didn't know you can do that, so that was awesome. Blind Toucan said it was awesome seeing you in Tucson. It was awesome seeing Tucson in Toucan. Toucan in Tucson. Damn it. Lieutenant Ginger says, I've got enough love for the both of you. I'll take it. And then KP Dub says, oh no, is there a ginger in here? Which will absolutely bring us into the list of people Matt owes an apology to, starting off with gingers and Australians. He manages, there is no one that is safe. He also deflects the blame by saying that it was the AI and not him, to which I have to remind him he writes the AI, and that is not a shield he can hide behind. Yes, Australians. Well, there was a certain kangaroo impersonation on behalf of all Australia. Male kangaroos do not have pouches. They do not go around saying "my baby." None of that's true. He could have attacked the spiders, the snakes. Why do you have to come for our sacred animal? It's on our crest. That and the emu. I'm surprised he didn't go for the emu, I'll be honest. Also, Americans say emu wrong. Could you do a softer U on it, please? Emu, emu. Tuesday, Call of Duty. Soft U. The book is called June. Moving on. So big hi to everyone who is tuning in. Let's have a look over on YouTube as well, because we've got a three-way happening over here. K-Frito's over there, and Rocco Taco. Been looking forward to this stream. Hate that I missed the last stream, but we were on vacation and acted like we were still in college playing drinking games that evening. You know what? If there were ever a reason to miss book club, it's getting shit-faced like you're 22, you know? So well done. Hope you had a great holiday. Big shout out to everyone else who's in here. KP Dubs is saying I had to open a fourth window. That is the kind of dedication I do like. I feel a little low. Whoop, there we go. That's better. Emus need some hate after winning the emu war. That's always a great conversation. Australia had a war with the emus and we lost. We brought guns to an emu fight and we lost. Let that sink in. Emus are superior. A crocodilian, says Aaron, named Florin, who is from France but speaks with an Australian accent. I got the tea on that. I don't think it's out yet, though, because I obviously need clarification. I was like, Matt, can we talk about the Australian crocodilian who is French? What's going on there? I can confirm. Oh, is he going to hate me? Florin is Australian. Florin is Australian. The accent is not faked. Why? Because you cannot convincingly do an Australian accent if you're not from Australia. Ground rule. We all know that. Maybe you don't know this. I really know this, not living in Australia with an Australian accent. If you think you're good at it, chances are you are absolutely not good at an Australian accent, except Jeff fucking Hayes, who does a good cultural appropriation of the kangaroo, which he was supposed to do. It did say, and I laugh every time, that the kangaroo's accent was enough to something like make an Australian irate and want to punch him in the face. Can confirm. Have seen that in a live read twice. And I'm staring at Jeff seething and Matt's staring at me giggling. I swear he just like wanted that whole scenario and he was writing it in that. By the way, I want everyone, if you've got the book in front of you, if you've got the book, I don't yet. Why do I not? Why did I not get, I just did the tour and I didn't get the damn book. I want you to flip all the way to the end in acknowledgements. I didn't even know this because I don't have the bloody book. Why did I not get the book? Hey, wake up. I did get the, oh, come on, where are you? Where are all my books? Maude, be better. I've got the graphic novels. I've got two. I'm about to get sent another set of the graphic novels thanks to Geordie because I won the Dungeon Crawler Showdown. What? Good on you, Ellie. And I'm going to do a giveaway. And I'm also going to do a giveaway of Platform Decay, which was our bonus book for last month with Book Club because I bought it and then I was sent it. So I've got books for days. I've just got to do some videos on that. Academic says I brashly demonstrate my fabulous Australian accent to all of my Australian friends. I mean, if you're going to say that, are you kidding me? You know what I'm going to make you do. You're going to unmute. If you need me to say an Australian line first so that you can get in the headspace, but He's preparing. Go on. This will be interesting. I'm waiting. I'll wait all day.
Am I unmuted? Oh,
No, you're
all
good now.
right.
Go on.
All right. All right. What am I saying?
Oh, you basically just said I brashly demonstrate my fabulous Australian accent to all of my Australian friends. Go on.
Go on.
No.
Do you know that in Return of the Jedi, when Leia is rescuing Han and she's wearing the helmet that infiltrates her voice, that's what you sounded like. Did you want to try again?
Cool. Hold on. What's the most offensive thing I could say?
No.
Oh no, that's not a knife. No,
Rip
that's
on the
just a
Barbie
knife.
academic. Just do
Maude and
it.
Kiwi are appalled.
Thank you. That is a knife, though.
Do it.
The
No.
glare that I'm giving you.
It's
Knife
not
right
quite
there.
incisive.
An attempt was made. Very brave. JP Watkins is over on TikTok. He's also from Perth. All natural Aussie right here. Go on, JP. Could you please rate academics' accent? Because I don't need to. You can see it on my face. I'd love to hear from everyone. Toaster Poster says Mel Gibson, Robert Downey Jr., Jeff Hayes are the only Americans that have a pretty good Aussie accent. Mel Gibson grew up in Australia, so that's literally where you get your formative language years. Robert Downey Jr. was okay. There were some tricky ones. There were some words that were funky AF. Jeff Hayes gets it. In fact, Jeff Hayes' Boston accent was more Australian than a Boston accent in this book. I don't know if anyone else picked up on that. Catch22 says, I'm not going to say I have a good Aussie accent, but I have been told I can do a pretty good British accent. No, we're not talking about that. I love that you're participating in the conversation, but let's just stay on target. Okay. I'm Big Daddy's
damn it,
dad.
Donut.
Says, thank you for the gift sub to KP Dubs and for supporting Maude. Aw, that's first time chatter. The hedgehog. Yes, the British hedgehog. Also very Australian. So Jeff has managed to just go, recognizes he's so good at Australian that everyone can be Australian now. Occult Stool says rise up lights. Yes, I know what you're trying to do with that one. If an American says rise up lights, it sounds like an Australian saying razor blades. Also, if you rest and relaxation, R&R, if you say R and R, it sounds like an Australian saying, oh no. Do not weaponize that against me, though. I have given you a gift. Toaster Post says I can only do the bad Aussie accent from The Simpsons. I know my limits. Okay, good. The scale didn't move, says JP. There you go. All right, so let's get stuck into what happens in this book. We know that Matt Dinman is a beast. He writes a lot. As the story progresses, the character development and depth really shapes and takes form. I guess up until this point, what's everyone's favorite Dungeon Crawler Carl book to date? And why is it book 5? Who else did a re-listen or a reread in anticipation for book 8 as well?
I kind of did. I started rereading, only got through book 1 and then got sidetracked, and then so I just reread book 7 and then went into 8.
You went 1 to 7 to 8. Yep. I did 1 to the beginning of 5, then 8, and then finished 5, and then 8 again. I will get back to 6 and 7, I promise. Jason reread 7. Colleen said, nope, I didn't have time. Academic, you read book 7 in anticipation. Vaden is reminding me, using a subtle cough in text form, that we actually have a new member. So for those that don't know, hi, I run a Patreon, and that is how you get membership to Maude's Book Club. Membership gets you a bunch of things, including all the show documents that we have with all the show notes, so we can kind of comment all together. It means that you've got an exclusive locked section of the Discord, which is essentially our headquarters where we all hang. Members is where I chat the most on the Discord. Sorry for everyone who doesn't know and doesn't even know that I'm in the Discord. I do pop in occasionally to some places, but I hang out in the members lounge there. We also have another tier called Members Plus, And that plus access gets you this Discord call that we're all in. So we're all hanging out in a video call right now. They're the voices that you can see. Their names will pop up here so you know who is talking. But this is where we have like almost our virtual in-room discussion, like a book club that you're invited into as well. We have a new member, the M. Lopez. He's panicking, looking around. Yep, it's your time. Spotlight's on you. A big hello. Can I ask a few questions? How did you discover Maude's book club?
How did I discover? Well, I discovered you at Dragonsteel Nexus, and you promoted it, and then mutual friends promoted it, and here we are.
Who are the mutual friends? I think you've already mentioned this to me in person, actually.
It was a gentleman named Ryan, and it's Cahill, as he likes to say.
It is Cahill. I know we all want to default into Cahill or Cahill real bad. It's like data, and data. It's like one of three. Right. I'm a data person, so Cahill's fine for me. Yes, it's so funny. I did burn him today. We've been on a really good roll of like not insulting each other, but I slipped yesterday. He made really good copy for a Lit Escalates shoot that I was recently a part of. And he said, what's the line? I used to live in peace, but my enemies brought me war. He said, I used to live in PJs until my enemies brought me drip. I was like, that was actually really good. And he's like, you should have gotten me to write all your copy. And I said, I didn't know you were a good writer. It was right there. He's written 6 books or so and counting, and I couldn't help it. And that's what I call friendship. It was right there. There you go. Nice. Well, I love hearing that. Tell me about what kind of books you're into, Lopez.
Fantasy. I like sci-fi and fantasy. I lean more fantasy. I'll say some authors I really enjoy are Christopher Rocchio and Robin Hobb. Robin Hobb is like a goddess to me. I think she is the best writer. I also love indie writers as well. So if you're checking out individuals like Z.B. Steele or Josiah Blizzard, if you haven't heard of them, go check them out. They're incredible writers, up there with the likes of Rocchio, Abercrombie, and Hobb and more.
Love that.
But love to read.
I love that. We've done the first book in the First Law trilogy with Joe Abercrombie. We have not done Riccio yet, but we do have a very Red Rising sized hole in our book club. Tim has the book in his hand. He's been champing every time. Pierce Brown is like, it's not chomping. He's been champing at the bit to read it. I'd love to dive back into some sci-fi. We do have, and you know what? We might have to do it after July. So for those that don't know, June's picks are A Parade of Horribles, and then to celebrate Pride, we are doing Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Next month, there it is. We have been making our way through the Stormlight archive, and we are up to book 5, Wind and Truth. So if you haven't started, you probably should have started 8 months ago to catch up in time. So you've missed that one, but we'll do book 5 for it. They're very, very big books, but I'd love to get into the Sun Eater series as well. And I've got some homework for other books. I want to do The Devils by Joe Abercrombie as well. I would also like to do a lot more books written by women and people of color as well. They tell fantastic stories, and I like to dive in. Oh, you must be saying champing at the bit. Cahill, data, chomping at the bit. There you go. That's the Australian side, chomping. Let's get back on track, though. Thank you so much. Lovely to meet you. Can you do me a favor? You have access to the show chat now. I see you're in there. Could you write those authors, the indie authors, down for me? Because that sounds really cool, and I want to expand my repertoire. And supporting indie authors is awesome. S.A. Cosby is a fantastic author, says Lieutenant Ginger. Do I call you Ginge? What are we doing there? The Devils is so good. Uzi Jesus just says hi, Maude again. I just started He Who Fights with Monsters. I'm just about to finish He Who Fights with Monsters. It's what I'm currently up to. I think I'm at like 92% for that. And it's an Aussie narrator as well. Shout out to Heath Miller. Great. Caught up on that chat. Sweet. All right. God, where are we at? 23 minutes in, and we're only just getting started on the conversation of the book. Rocco says, my experience with making an Aussie accent comes from watching Cold Ones. And when I was in high school, I played on an Aussie WoW server. Rocco, did you play WoW with my dad? because my dad has been playing WoW since 2005 and he still plays today, and he was obviously in an Aussie server. That would be wild if you've been playing with, like, no, got to put in a crucial word in this sentence while we're going live and broadcasting. That would be wild if you were playing video games with my dad this whole time and you didn't even know. If he's like the nicest person you've ever spoken to, that's my dad. Jason said, I'm loving the Wandering Inn series. I'm on like book 10 of 20. If you think Stormlight Archives is long, meet the Wandering Inn. You said Maude again, and my head went to Mad Mardigan. And so it should. KP Dubs is talking about the fact that he got Matt Dinnerman to sign his copy of Wind and Truth, and it says, suck it, Sanderson. How long is this? What the fuck? I love that.
New achievement.
Yes, and because some of us are in the Dungeon Crawler Carl Discord, we have access to the soundboard. Some of them are appropriate, most of them are not. But if they pop up in the convo, so be it. But you can't add it to my swear account. Pirataba, am I saying that wrong? Probably. Is putting out more pages per year than Sando or King, and I think has passed their total word counts. Wow, that's so good. To me, Green, or Tom E. Green, says The Wandering Inn is great. Oh, Academic, are you listening to that one, reading that one? Who in the community was doing Wandering Inn? Someone was doing Wandering Inn, and it was like, what are you reading now? Still Wandering Inn. Pirate Arbor. Thank you. Hobbs' Elderling Saga is 16 books. Look, I did the Assassin's Apprentice book 10 years ago for a book club, 9 years ago, and I didn't continue. There you go. Rocco said it was in 2011 and 2014. Yep. Yeah, my dad was playing them. My dad was playing that game. Let's talk about A Parade of Horribles by Matt Dinnerman. One of the questions that I asked on book tour with him across the US was, what is a parade of horribles? And he says that on the very first page, it has the definition of it. And it's essentially two different things. It is the masquerade with the masks on faces in like a parade type thing. Who's got the book in front of them? Who wants to read it out to me, the definition? Let's go, Aaron.
Parade of Horribles. Plural. Parades of Horribles. Noun. A parade featuring a progression of people wearing comic and grotesque costumes, commonly accompanied by floats and models representing monsters. 2. Law. Informal. Any rhetorical device presenting a series of terrible results that notionally might follow from an act, instead of confining the argument to the explicit terms of any applicable law. See also fear-mongering and catastrophism.
So this book covers, if I say both, is that a spoiler? Well, it's too late now. You know what you're getting in for. That's what the Parade of Horribles, it's in the name.
To be fair, though, it's literally the first section of the book, so it's right at the beginning.
I've already read it. There you go. What is on the cover? Well, there's hands reaching out. There is a food truck with a gun on the front of it. Carl is caped up on the front. If you look in the O of Horribles, it's Rend. It's Rend. It used to be called Garrett. I miss it being called Garrett. There's Rend the little meatball. No Mongo on there. Is Donut driving? No, Mongo's in the front? Mongo's in the front?
Donuts in the back of the truck in the kitchen.
Got it. If you're listening to the audiobook, there is a unique horn that this food truck makes. I got Matt to do it several times in person on the tour. I will try my best right now for everyone who's missing out. Welcome to the big shop. Not great. I'm no Jeff Hayes, but that's the horn that Mongo is repeatedly honking over and over and over again. The concept is simple, as far as a Dungeon Crawler Carl concept ever could be. You have to pick a vehicle. This vehicle could be mechanical, like what they did. And honestly, they're all humans, and humans are obviously going to pick what they know, and that is vehicles, because we've been learning to drive. The other type of vehicle is a biological mount, which Prepotente decided to pick because I think he's one with animals. But the majority of them are picking mechanical vehicles. You do not get a choice in what vehicle you are allocated. They have a food truck. There is a kitchen in there. There is food in there. The gun literally gets in the way of being able to see anything. And the whole premise is that it's a race. The races could be different lengths, different types of challenges throughout it. There are 7 different heats. If you win, you get an optimal upgrade or a choice of 3 standard upgrades. And the whole thing is you want to try and upgrade your vehicle as much as possible as the heats get harder and more different in what it is that you have to do. You might need to levitate. You might need to crawl up. You might need more shields. You might need weapons. You might need to not ignore your GPS inbuilt system. Multiple ways you can upgrade. If you lose, you die. If you come last, you're dead. If you come second last, you get a fan chosen upgrade. So you do not have a choice in what you get. Matt told me that the inspiration behind this was Hanna-Barbera's Wacky Races. Who watched Wacky Races as a kid? What was your favorite team from Wacky Races? And why was it Penelope Pitstop? I am predictable.
I honestly forgot. I think it was Snidely Whiplash. That was the guy with this little dog that always laughed really.
Yeah, like.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a good one.
But I did have one question on the rules. Like,
yeah.
It's like if you're dead last, you die. But if some team is already eliminated, then no. In that, like
they've already died. When they get eliminated, they're dead. It's because they're dead.
So whoever's technically last is technically second to last.
Yes. It's like technically last to go over the finishing line. Because if you didn't, it's because you're dead. Oh yeah, it's just in the Twitch channel, Lopez. That's what I kind of refer to. But I have three chats in front of me. Whoa, it's really picking up with a lot of people talking now over on TikTok, sorry. Uzi G says, how far are you into with Parade of Horribles? We're at the halfway mark. So with Maude's book club, if we choose a main book, we have a main book and a bonus book every single month. We cover 2 books. The main book, we'll break it up into 2 discussions, the first half of the book and the second half of the book. The discussions last for 2 hours. So we really talk about these books. We are going to avoid the second half of the book. No spoilers, please. Just the first half. We'll be talking about the themes, what the book sets up, the new characters, any plot progression, what we're feeling with this book so far, first impressions. So in our part 1, we ask, is book good? In part 2, we get a rating out of 5. So if you've read the book, first impressions, is book good? And we can get into that one. You're traveling for work. I thought you just had a mint green wall. Sorry, that's inside baseball. That's just talking to Members Plus. Uzi Jesus set the Big Shot chicken horn as the notification tone. How do you do that? How do you do that? How do you do that? Tell me, and I would like to also do that. JP is currently at work, has to get back into it. Thank you so much for stopping by. Ginger and the Foxes gave me the lieutenant designation. Oh, love that. Shout out to Ginger and the Foxes, who were also at the Nashville show and recorded the Q&A portion and put it all up online. So if you want to vicariously live through the Nashville show, check out Ginger and the Foxes on Instagram and or TikTok, and you can check out all those Q&As, including the guy in the front row who's a few down from Mia, who asked a lovely question about how was Matt basically lucky enough to get me on tour? And the guy a few down from her goes, wah. And I heard it. And if you are going to mock me in a public forum setting while I'm trying to do my job and I have a microphone in my hand, I will eviscerate you. It's only warranted and earned if you come at me with that energy. I have a lot more energy in me. And I gave him my whole life story. Anyway, is book good is where we're getting at. We've done the setup. we're doing a Parade of Horribles. It is a race. It's based on wacky races. Is book good? First impressions only before we jump into the... We've kind of done the gist of the dungeon. Before we get stuck into the new characters and the themes and the NPCs. Bartleby Prime says, "His Susie Jesus, Maude." KP is saying, if at least one team is killed, they are last. However, of the surviving teams, whichever team finished last among them gets the audience voted upgrade. Yes. Aaron says book is good. Bianchi says book good. Lisa says book good. Bartleby says, oh, he's Easy Jesus Mod. Jason says book very good. 5 stars. Yes, you read ahead. Vaden says book good. Mystery Theatre, first time chatter, says book good. And you said it correctly. If it doesn't sound like a clucking chicken, then you haven't written book good properly. K. Frito says yes, good. Vaden says it's always good when the jerks get their comeuppance. Bartleby says book okay thus far. Hopeful for the second half. Academic says book good, 5 out of 5. You've already finished it, Academic. You read the whole thing. What happened? When did that happen? As soon as it was launched, you were just like, go time. My life is a race. I don't want to come last in this one, so I'm going to read the whole thing. I don't care that Maude has to stop at 48, even though she lasted till 50. I will read the whole thing. Is that what happened?
Don't gaslight me, Jesus.
That's okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong about reading more. If you're going to be reading a book, that's a win. That's how I see it. Now, who didn't read ahead? Who was awesome? No, read the damn book. It's awesome. I've already read it. I've got no leg to stand on in this fight. I read the whole book. I got it before. I finished the book before it came out. I finished it the night before our first tour stop. And it was really hard to not spoil anything in those two. In fact, we had a bit of a bit. Matt likes to, at the start of each show, see where everyone is up to. The amount of people that hadn't read book 7 going to a book 8 launch was astounding. And when we see the amount of people that haven't done book 7, I'm like, okay, so we won't mention that Donut dies. And what's really funny about that is that people who have read book 7 know it's complete bullshit, but people who haven't don't know if it's a joke or not.
This is an outrage.
Yes. And that comes from me being an asshole. People who took too long to read the last Harry Potter book. Are you kidding me? This thing came out. The hype was there. If you were reading it 3 years later, I would walk past, see you reading it and says, oh, it's a shame about Ron. And then just keep walking. Now, is that a lie? They don't know. I know. They don't. That's what happens when you're too slow to read. Oh, God, I'm awful. Competitive reading with Maude Garrett. Reading Dungeon Crawler Carl should be the dungeon level. Anyway, food for thought. Food for thought. We've done so many Dungeon Crawler Carl tabletop RPG levels. What about competitive reading? Who can finish this passage first? Okay, you're still alive. Everything's a competition if you have 2 older brothers. That's all I will say. Film Addict says, hi Maude, sending love from Thailand. Wonderful to have you in here. Geordie says, book is good. Geordie, as soon as Geordie finished the book, immediately hit me up and said, we need to talk about this. I need someone to talk about it. Geordie finished the book within the first, was it 24 hours, Geordie, or 48 hours? You finished it in an insanely fast amount of time. KP Dubs read about 100 pages past. Colleen's a little ahead. I love that this has turned into a confession. Does reading/listening to it twice count as ahead? Yep. Darren said they missed out on Donut Slam Slam Slam. Oh. I actually did that. I was like, well, then you won't know what this means. And half the audience gasped. And I was like, it seems so innocent. It seems so innocent. Like, you know, those Buddha doll, the cat. Yeah. It's my catapult, an item that I got in your level, Vaden, of the dungeon. My catapult.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and then K Frida, that's exactly what Matt would follow up with. That's a book 9 spoiler when I say that we can't say that Donut's dead yet. And so he would say that and I'd be like, oh, okay. See, I go too far, he finishes it. I start it, he ends it. Tosapost said, it's my second read because you said it was okay on your surprise stream a couple of weeks ago. No, you're right. Reading's great. It is a shame about Ron though, says Academic. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? See? It fucks with people. It fucks with them. And that's funny. It's emotional damage. Pine Porcupine says, I hope the Carl TTRPG will explore floor 10. It was awesome. Ben says, let's read the entire Anarchist cookbook from inside the crawl. Oh my God. Which version? Vito. KB says, the difference between the dungeon levels and us reading it is that we do not have safe rooms to hide in. The book is always there. Aaron says, I read the whole thing and I have no regrets. Darren also brought up Metis because you're on a crusade of chaos in the chat, which go for it. Pop off king. Alicia says, I read it twice in the first week. I'm so proud of you because I know you have a really busy job and a family. So priorities on point. Well done. See, if anyone else is like, I don't have time. If Alicia can do it, you can too. KP Dub says, let's pause and reflect. Darren says, I'm just real glad I reread book 7. Am I catching up to chat yet? You guys are chatty tonight. Every time Matt asked who his favorite characters were, he asked back who was yours. No one was stupid enough to answer that, knowing that Matt would kill them. That was funny. That was really funny. Who are yours? I'm like, I'm not telling you. I'm not falling for that. Or I would say, what did I say one of the times? I was like, who's your favorite character? I was like, Quan CH.
He's pulling the AI thing. It's like, oh, this is your favorite thing. This is what you love the most. Okay.
Yup. Pine says seeing Donut have PTSD from her atrocity spell was actually really heartbreaking. Yes. 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 She like subconsciously is like holding her paw. Oh my God, Aaron, you've had your hand up for ages. I'm so sorry. What's up?
Oh, you're fine. I actually just had a thought on the whole thing with the war crime spell. Is what's like building further and further the tragedy is like every single character is just experiencing PTSD, but has had zero chances to just
Process any of
decompress.
it.
Because like somebody I was like talking with the book about, it's like I forget which book it was, where Donut and Carl are just taking an actual nap, unenhanced bed nap, where it's just them just sleeping regular, and it's like the first time in like how long they just had a chance to just be normal, because that bed of like just like 1 minute you're refreshed is like fucking with their PTSD psychology and all that.
I would argue that a coping mechanism that I would want to have in the dungeon is suppress and forget. I would not want time to process. I am surviving. As soon as I had a chance to collect my thoughts and really think about some of the heinous shit that I likely would have done or seen in this dungeon, I would not. I would absolutely break down. And this is a huge theme in this book, not only with our crawlers, but with our NPCs that have subconsciously been a part of this and now are becoming a lot more conscious about it. I'm just going to quickly make my way through the rest of the chat. Rocco finally realized that I barely look at the YouTube chat and so has jumped into Twitch. Did you have to make an account to do this? Because it's first time chatter. Saying, since I have Amazon Prime, I decided to set this up for my Twitch and I found out that my username is somehow already taken. So it says Rocco Taco is unavailable as a username. That's wonderful. Love that. Tor's Book Talk is in here. Oh, that's so sweet. Hello. Uzi Jesus says, I would pay so much money to have that magic bed. I love that Carl is fighting for something that's his. And sleep was something that he had. Sleep was his thing. It was his reset button. It was his way to just not be a part of this. I totally agree with you, Uzi Jesus. What a sentence to say. I can't sleep if I'm stressed. I experienced it all throughout the tour. If I have to get up before 6 a.m., 7 a.m., I won't sleep. If I have a very taxing day and a really big responsibility, I won't sleep. So if I was fighting for my life every single day, I would not be sleeping and it would get me killed. It would make me sloppy and would get me killed. If I had a bed that was designed to give me 2 hours and it would give me a full reset and then buffs for the next day, I would take it. Also, one of the things that I related to with Lucia the most was that she learnt to min-max quite early on. She was like, right, she wanted the bed straight away because she didn't want to sleep because sleep was a waste of time. You had to grind, you had to gain XP. I would 100% be like that in the dungeon. I'd be like, right, mobs, let's go. Right, we are grinding. We are training in the morning, which they're doing now, which I really respect, and then we're grinding. And that would suck, but it's how you survive. And then, of course, I would also be the person who's like, all right, I'm out. That's me done. That's me done. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm sick of being entertainment for other people. I'm out. And then I would jump in front of a moving vehicle or something. I don't know. Whatever's quick. The problem is the more powerful you get, it doesn't do it. It doesn't work. Like we had an accident. Dwight the Unicorn just completely literally derailed the team and they are sitting there, punctured lungs, broken bones, like they're literally burning on fire. And he can feel everything. But he ain't dead. That's not enough because you've maxed out so much because your strength is higher, your dex is higher, everything is more elevated. So you can survive a lot more. That would also fuck with me. Anyway, Pine says, I've read the floor 10 section a few times now, but I can't help imagining car upgrades for a vehicle. Lol. Occult mentions Jacobus the Tooth Fairy. I still don't really understand the reverse Tooth Fairy thing because he made it vague. And when I read Dungeon Crawler, Carl, you need to tell me everything. Don't make me guess. It's what a Tooth Fairy does, but in reverse. He steals the teeth or he puts teeth back in the mouth and pays them. Like, what is a reverse Tooth Fairy? And of course, I listen to an audiobook. I don't have time to stew and think about it because I've got to keep listening. So that happens a couple of times and I'm like, meh? Rocco has said the CTSD, it's the Claws Traumatic Stress Disorder. Wait, someone's called Occult Stool and you're responding to them? Occult Stool? What is going on? Did someone take your name?
I think he was replying to the wrong thing.
Got it. Aaron says they're in constant flight or fight, and it's always fight. There is no chance to pause, pun intended. Or maybe not. Maybe not. KP Dub says, oh, the NPCs are suffering and know it at this point. And the Lopez was stolen. Oh, this is so funny. Everyone's making Twitch accounts and their names have been taken. It says chat found and someone stole my username already as well. What's KCUF?
Just read it in reverse.
Ah! Oh, yeah, my swear count just hit 2,000 or 1,900. We're good. Geordie says, Matt does a fantastic job of portraying the effects of suppressing the trauma. Agree. Rocco says, different username, having a username discussion. Aaron says, the flip side, though, because of the shorter and shorter floor times, sleeping is a luxury rather than a necessity that no one can afford. You're exactly right. Bartleby says, if you made it through, though, I could replace Choco the Bard. Thank you. So many great conversations to come out of this. Would you stay in your body or would you want to change it? Like, it's helped characters like Ellie, who literally was elderly with dementia, and now she's top 10 crawler, top 5 crawler, top crawler. Depends who you ask. There are other people that recognize that it would just be easier or more convenient. Like, let's talk about Florin. We really don't talk about this as a stat, and this is what I caught on my re-listen. Florin has the ability to absorb skills, experience, by eating and consuming the enemy. So he became a crocodile because a crocodilian can literally eat their prey, eat their kill, and will absorb things. That is never talked about again. But there is a moment where you kind of see like an arm going down the gullet, and that's one of his skills. So we're not in a party with him, so we're not privy to this a lot of the time. But there are no dead bodies or corpses around Florin. Like, he will nom nom. Yes, Aaron? I'm about to get actually.
Because he's, oh my God, I'm forgetting her name, the crazy lady with the dogs that are no
Lucy
longer there. CMR. because she holds all the kids from the surface in her head somehow, which hasn't been explained yet. They've all, at one point or another, have witnessed this giant crocodile man probably eating other things like that, like you just described.
Hold on, I missed the part where that was.
So, CMR has all the kids inside her head.
Yes.
All of them are little kids watching a giant crocodile man gobble up all these things and not understanding what's going on.
Whoa. These kids, like, messed up. Poor Katia is probably trying to do her best up there. Geordie says, I'm so excited to get more of Florin's story in the crocodile graphic novel. Yes, you will learn about his backstory. I love that. Pine Porcupine says, well, yes and no. Canadian are a real human variant in the book, so I would just pick that. But yeah, would you, like, you know, you see Bautista, that there were really cool skills and he's essentially a fairy. Like, is that something that you would be like, I miss who I am? And I think he was actually going through that, if I'm not mistaken. It was someone, who was it? It was a crawler who, I thought it was Bautista. He regretted it when Katia left the floor. Yes, because he wasn't human anymore and he couldn't provide her kids. Like, that was a huge thing. Now, you shouldn't be having kids in the floor, so it's not something that he could have ever predicted, because even if he asked, he's like, hey, what will I miss out on? And they're like, no, you can stay alive, you know. But it was Bautista being like, had I known, like, I lose a sense of myself. I don't have an anchor anymore, because when I look in the mirror, it's not me. I don't see me anymore. And he's losing his identity by being in a different body. Now, is he buff AF? Yeah. Could he be he's also the, not scoundrel. It starts with S.
Swashbuckler?
Swashbuckler. Thank you. I thought that gave it away. Obviously, I'm swashbuckling with my, thank you. Bautista and Katia's kids would have been great. Toaster Poster says, how can we enter heaven if God can't recognize us, was the quote. Oh, massive. Rocco says, I feel like kids seeing Florin as a giant croc eating people would be like, well, that's so cool, because I loved Steve Irwin growing up. So same thing, kind of. Aaron says, depends on the race choices that are given, because some people got screwed with their choices. Mordecai can't pick his form between floors. Yeah, yes, he's now an NPC, and that can mess with your head. Mystery Theater said, it would be super tough to change from being a human. I like Carl doing a primal, human with a twist. Lisa says, I would change because I know I physically could not keep up as myself and would have died so early on. See, isn't that interesting? What kind of, like, character would you have chosen? Tall.
I have no idea. Somebody who's stronger, faster.
What if it was like a real decked out flamingo?
I don't know how useful that would be in the dungeon.
Let's say it was like decked out.
Why not?
You had flight ability, but you'd squawk a little bit.
Be pretty in pink.
That's the attitude that you need right there. That's what we need. Pine says, I think the dungeon heals you of small ailment, I think you're supposed to say. No crawlers had glasses, so I guess that no crawlers have asthma either. Rocco says I would have gone with an elven race just because that's what I go with in D&D campaigns. Geordie said, I think I'd be scared to death to change my biology, even if it did make my chances to survive higher. Yeah. That's the thing. What are you willing to do to survive? Someone else, I think it was Uzi in the TikTok chat, said, would you use the Ring of Divine Suffering? I have thought about that a lot. There is a reason why it dangles the carrot. Carl recognizes the logic behind it. If you can guarantee that kill and it's quick, you gain a stat of their highest skill. That's mad leveling. Lina did it to the extent that it could possibly be done. She can't heal because she marked absolutely everyone, and some of them got teleported to the 15th level, so she's fucked. But she's also maxed out her skills 300 across the board. 300 across the board. Lina is also absolutely mentally unstable and is losing it. So let's really talk about the important thing of floor 10. Floor 10. And that is A couple of things. Matt really wanted, after Faction Wars, to not lower the stakes, but to bring it grounded again, bring it back down a little bit. He personally, writing the book, missed it when it was the Carl and Donut story. Faction Wars got so much bigger than them, and it became a group effort, and it became about all these different factions, and it became about what was happening outside of the crawl. He just wanted to re-anchor it, so the story was about Carl and Donut again. And you hear that through Carl literally saying, I love that if anything goes wrong, the only people that are really at stake here are Donut and I. I am not responsible for thousands of people anymore. That was really weighing on him. So the fact that it has kind of been reduced to that is great. I miss the stakes. I find that when you are telling a story where the levels get harder and harder and harder, to bring it back down, for it to be a little bit softer, so to speak, where the NPCs are diluting the pool, even though way more people survive than they should have. Knowing that the AI is becoming unstable as well and is trying to eradicate humans and the crawlers, logically, this doesn't make as much sense to me. Aaron, your hand was up. What's up?
It's actually, you're just hitting on what I was trying to say. I think because the AI has gone insane as well and is doing all the chaos outside the dungeon, Carl doesn't need to worry about that because they're too busy trying to survive themselves in all the chaos to worry about what's going on in the crawl.
Yeah. I just feel like having the NPCs feels like such an out, where the incline of the stakes, it doesn't lean to kind of having the out. K Frito does say, though, you wouldn't use the Ring of Divine Suffering because there's always a price. Yeah, there you go. And Uzi Jesus is asking everyone, what level is Carl at by the end of the last book? Is it like 93? 95? Academic? All good magic has a price, says Lopez. Yeah. And there should be checks and balances when it comes to magic use, I think. Did you have another query, Academic? He's saying yes. I just have to figure out this unmute button because it's pesky.
Yes, it is. I don't know if it's fair to say that. I hear an echo. Do y'all hear an echo? Is it just me?
Not me.
Okay. Right, weird. All right. So I don't know if it's fair to say that the stakes have been lowered. Sure, he's not responsible for as many crawlers because many of them have exited the floor, but obviously he has the entire universe right now. Like, if he doesn't solve this dungeon thing, everyone gone, right? I feel like the stakes are lower. And then we also have these sentient NPCs essentially coming into being, and now we're faced with the reality that these are people too. These are things that I think it was Forkith was the cookbook author who recognized NPCs as NPCs originally, or as people originally, and now Carl is faced with that like one-to-one as at the start of this 10th floor.
We do have a slew of new characters, and I'm wondering if, like, by not having as much airtime means that we're still having open-ended questions about what's going on with Lucia Marr. Like, I feel like we're coming to a close. This is when a lot of things sort of need to be addressed, and it just slightly is askew. Lopez, you got your hand up?
I do. I kind of agree. Like, I don't think the stakes are lower at all. In fact, I think, to your point, we're seeing more Donate Carl. However, he has less control of this purposely because the way they drive, right? The drivers have to switch out. So he doesn't have as much control as he typically has, which, if you're a control freak, that's the worst.
Really good point. And having to find a capable driver each heat is proving harder and harder and harder. And then you also have, okay, well, let's hire mercenaries. But it's like those mercenaries are starting to wake up and remember their purpose in their life, or like what happened, and recognize that they don't even know if they're real. Now, the fire sprite, who's having an absolute meltdown, is starting to question absolutely everything. But of course, there's no time to have a meltdown in the dungeon. You've got to just get it together and push through. And so that's another one of the themes that are here. You know, it's the no support, not trusting anyone, knowing that sacrifices need to be made, trying not to come last, and trying to, oh, here we go, the level 7 collapse. We've got at the end of book 7, he's level 81. And remember, Donut is level 135, is it? Or 131 after the astral pour. And she one-shotted a level 91 enemy. And Kyle clocked that, where it was just a magic missile, one and done. And he's like, that was a level 91 monster that she just took out. Like, this is how powerful Donut has gotten. Now, remember, Donut is chasing to catch up to Carl for the majority of this dungeon. And in that one fell swoop, like, she has become incredibly powerful. Jason says, I love that the NPCs suffer from cognitive dissonance. You love that, do you? That sounds pretty horrible, really. And it's an extra kind of thing to not need to deal with. Yeah, okay, I like hearing that. Toast Post says the Pineapple Cabaret plotline feels like a good puzzle to rescue other crawlers. Not high stakes, but I'm happy that that plotline is there. KP Dub says, yeah, she's such a high level that she's not leveling on this floor so far. I know, she astral poured and wiped out a bunch of them. She's like, I didn't raise a single level. This is an outrage. So yeah, she's needing a lot more XP to even level up at this stage. Let's talk about the NPCs, because we have been introduced to a bunch of new ones. This is something else that happened in Dresden Files in the most recent book, because a huge war happened. We did lose a lot of people, and Dresden is now starting to surround himself with new people. And I'm like, this feels unfamiliar. Maybe I get cozy and I know who all the characters are and I just want to spend more time with them. So when I get a bunch of new characters, I'm like, where are we? Is this even the same book? And we're having that with all the NPCs. Now, Carl recognizes that the AI is trying to eliminate them so that all the crawlers then have to race each other, knowing that whoever loses will die. This is where all roads are going towards, and they're trying to stop that as much as possible. But Lina is just killing off NPCs because they're outraging her. Like, you know, she's just like uncontrollable, and she's just eliminating them. And so she's causing a disruption in the plan. You've got other NPCs who are nightmares. Dwight's trying to kill everyone. Dwight the unicorn. And it's such a funny thing because Dwight is this sparkly unicorn that you think would sound like this. I'm Dwight. Rainbows pop out. Dwight is an asshole. And he's just hell-bent set on killing everyone. And so they're like, we have to take him out so that he doesn't kill all of us. So that's interesting as well. Thank you for that, Lisa. That's really good to know. They both started book 7 or around the middle of the book. They were both level 74. And by the end of the book, Carl was 81 and Donut was 135. Wow. Oh, and then there's the pig, says KP Dubs. Yeah, then there's one fine pig. You want to talk bonkers about shit? There is a pig, nothing unusual about it. It's a standard pig. This pig is Penny. And a god is in love with the pig, so the pig is protected. And the pig is in a throuple with 2 other furries that sound like they're from Jersey Shore. And nobody can look at the pig. And now they're like starting fights as well. There's also the Womentars they are in, I wrote it down somewhere. Where are my notes? The Lady Dominators. There's Team Free Love, who they had to rescue in the first heat because their vehicle was overturned. And they are these bugbears from Eastern European descent. And then Dwight and Lucien. And Lucien is this volatile rat, rodent type thing. And there's also the ninja foxes that seem pretty cool as well. But there's like a moment where which team confesses like, you're not so bad because she was trying to get us to kill you in the next heat. So there's like inter-group hostility as well. They're trying not to kill anyone. They're reporting in with the heats between in their group chat. What's going on with Floren's team, who's teamed up with Lucia. What's going on with, is it Tran, Lena, and... Is it just Tran and Lena in that team? And then, of course, Amani and Ellie are another one. Zhang. Got it. Thank you. Did the rat have Graves' disease? I know it's a Hot Rod Fat Fink reference. That went over my head if it did. Tran is on a different team than Lena. Thank you, Darren. And then you've got Oswald, and Oswald is a character that we haven't really mentioned all that much. He showed up in Faction Wars. He's the one with the, oh my God, come on. What is the spirit? What is the gem? What is the, Prepotente's got one. Memorial Crystal, thank you, Barterby Prime, 5 points to you. The Memorial Crystal, which is tied to different quest lines and something that Oswald had to discover, but they're not really working, and so that's why he threw it back at Prepotente, and Prepotente believes that he needs it to survive the crawl some way. It's a gift from Apito, one of the gods. There you go. Memorial Crystal. There it is, right there. I know. I listen and I need to write down things, because if I don't write it down, we're done. Oh, Jason just posted what the hot rod rat fink is. Yikes. Anything that can go wrong has been going wrong, especially with the drivers. Carl did the first one. Donut has paws, so can't actually drive. They are now reanimating corpses because their NPCs were flatlined and killed. Jamal is going through shit as well. He's scared of heights and he's having a bit of a breakdown. A lot of things are happening. Olga's gonna, we'll get them ahead. That's a terrible pun because it hurts. It's still too soon. It's too soon. Uzi Jesus is saying, I wonder if we see the rage elementals again. Weren't they from like level 12 or something? Morrigan is in here. We were just talking about you earlier, Morrigan. Morrigan says, hey, I'm talking about this book at my book club too. Hell yeah. Morrigan says, and then Dwight. Frickin' Dwight. I know. Chris is with the errands, says Morrigan. Wow, you've been doing a DCC book club every week since November? That's amazing. Morrigan says, I adore Maude and quote her at my book club all the time. Hold on, quote how? What quote? I hope it's not saying all the reasons why I have the 1900 swear count in my streams. Barterby Prime, are you spoiling? Is that a spoiler? Yeah, that feels like a bit of a spoiler. Jamal is so much better than Jar Jar Binks, just throwing that out there. Donut calls Jamal Jar Jar. There's actually a few things that are quite meta if you pay attention. One of the NPCs is a toad. I fucking hate toads. Everyone knows this in my chat. I hate toads. Donut goes, wow, you're kind of like what Mordecai was on the 4th level, except, you know, he was really annoying. He would make this toad sound or frog sound the whole time and like, but you don't do that as much. That is totally commentary on Jeff Hayes's when he did the character in the 4th book, which was a little bit too much and annoying. So the fact that Matt is getting Jeff to read basically a performance review as disguised as Donut's dialogue, that's funny. That's really funny. Jamal, we don't Elmo. I didn't get that reference.
Because
Elmo
Elmo talks
keeps
about
ref-
himself.
In the 3rd person. That's
Exactly.
funny. That's funny. That's funny. See, I just kind of like, all right. Trolling the narrator for the win, says Jason. Oh, Morrigan quotes that we can all read the same words but interpret it differently. Yeah, that's a big mantra here. We read the same words but hear a different story is my quote that I use, which I believe in, which is why book club is so great, because everyone comes in with their perspective on how it affected them and how they saw the character or the things, and it's very, very different. And I love that. That's the best part about book clubs. Justin says, I just joined a men's sci-fi and fantasy book club. First book is Wool from the Silo series. I hear that's a very, very good book, actually. It's on my TBR. All the chats are happening. KBW says, just thinking of moment so far, Samantha with the recap, Donut with the lawyer, Carl's wife. Let's get stuck into the very, very beginning of the book. Samantha does the recap this time around. Something very interesting happened to Samantha as she's recapping. She is also an NPC, technically, that is starting to remember. Now, this has happened before in book 6. The longest the level is, the more time she has to think. Academic, you're making a confused face. What do you need help with?
Isn't yes, Samantha is an NPC, but also isn't she a god? Which means wouldn't she also be going through a lot of the same things the other gods are going through, if not already having gone through them?
This is
she's
very,
also
very
from the
interesting.
nothing.
She's technically a demigod. Now, I'm going to throw you guys a bone here. I'm going to kill your mother is crucial to Samantha's storyline. I don't know if you've figured out who she is yet. Matt has been very open with the planning that he's doing for the final books, and that is he's making the family tree and he's tracking who all the gods are. He kept saying that, and I'm like, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Samantha is the key to a lot of things. He's kept her around for a reason. She needs a body. The fact that she hasn't had a body means that the book hasn't ended, the series hasn't ended. When Samantha gets her body, we are talking the fifth element, the key. Everything's going to come from when she gets her body. She is a demigod. She cannot be harmed. She's picking fights with other demigods like, don't clip this, Minge, Slit. Who else is there? Probably Muff or some shit. Gash. Thanks, Occult Stool. Just have that one ready to go, didn't you? Bartleby says, the Leica doll latex head, the key to everything. Such a trope. No, it was never supposed to happen, but he kind of thought more and more about this character and he was like, there you go. Samantha with a body would be like multi-position. What does that even mean, KP? That sounded a lot like a confession. What are you doing with this sex doll?
Use that fifth element, and so instead of multi-pass, multi-position, because some
Everything I say stands. You're the one that wrote position. Rocco said, oh, God. I nearly read that out loud, Rocco. Timeout. You're in timeout. That was too close. Too close. Jesus Christ. So, yeah, Samantha is very, very crucial to all of this. We don't get her as much in the book, but she does do the opening recap. She is starting to remember. And as soon as you can see like this, wow, and then what was that about? And then is like programmed back into kind of like the train of thought that's happening. Question, what did Matt answer when you asked if all Nagas were evil? Did I? Or was that the one that I kept forgetting? I think it was, because I was like, well, what'd you go? Yeah, I think I was like, why do you hate snakes, bro? And he was like, I don't, it's just that's kind of like how it all came about. Like, when you look at the history, there were the orcs, the Nagas, and the Nagas did a previous crawl. So kind of like a lot of the orcs are kind of evil, a lot of the Naga are also kind of evil. But then he's also like, I mean, a lot of the mudskippers seem kind of evil too. It's like, this is the universe, essentially. He said there may be Nagas that we haven't met yet. Thank you, Geordie, coming in clutch for that one. I love the recap in the beginning we get in Samantha's head. Yeah, but in third person, which is really interesting. That one was a little bit weird because there was like a third person recap and then Samantha has her go. What did you get from that recap apart from the fact that Samantha's starting to remember again? And remember, Samantha only remembers the longer she's in a level. They've just gotten to level 10 and she's starting to remember. So this is happening at a much quicker rate now when you think about it. The mudskippers were always called fish yahtzees. Alicia says, I feel like it's not the races are evil. We just keep meeting the ones who are wealthy and or royalty. So yeah, they're shitheads. Pine says, thanks. So like the drows in Dungeons and Dragons, I suppose. It's integrated in their society, but not innate to them like evil dragons. I always love the drow culture. Why? Because it's a matriarchy and women are stronger and men suck. Well, they're just like they're not making decisions. That whole place is run by women. So, and is that why they're like inherently more evil? Maybe it was thinly veiled misogyny all along. Still, they're in positions of power, and I love it.
To be fair, though, they are also ruled over by a giant god Spider Queen lady.
Spider
So
Queen. Spider Queen.
fair point.
And they turn the men into hybrid drow spider. What are they called?
Riders.
Yeah. Strider, right? Strider?
Riders.
No. Drider. Are they driders, not striders? Is there a strider? Oh, someone better write this down. This is gold. Moving on, our first chapter talks about Donut, who's in a meeting with her lawyer. Her lawyer is Carl's wife. Now, there are times in Matt's writing when I can tell the Patreon made a decision and Matt was like, fuck. And I think Carl having a wife was one of them. Not really sure what to do. It seems like she's trying to get the one up on Donut because they made Carl the benefactor. He's like the one in charge because she's technically a cat. So he's got all the money. The fact that they're now married, she's like, well, that's my money. And she's like, I'm going to get all Carl's money first, and then I'm going to get all Donut's money to make myself a benefactor, which I can do legally because not only am I Carl's wife, but I am now their lawyer as well. What a fucked position, right? Donut's here going, so wait, you are taking away all my agency, you're taking away all my money. And she is so smart about it. She's like, this is being broadcast. So if this is about money, what if I just say that, for your head, here's an outrageous figure. And then you see the power dynamics shift, which is really cool. Occult says, you can't get the one up on the Donut holes. Aaron says, this is how terrifying Donut can actually be when Donut is by herself and doesn't have to hold back for Carl's sake. Alicia says, yeah, they close out that wife story real quick, but I love the reminder of how clever and strategic Donut is. Exactly. Saved by the Broom says, I love the tick that Donut now has when she's wiping her paw. Yeah, she's got to tell. That really affected her. Mind you, it is called a war crime spell. Like, this is the level of the spell that we are dealing with now. Bartleby Prime says, Donut channeled her inner Beatrice. This is what's really interesting because that side does show. There are times where it's like she's actually quite manipulative. Now, is it manipulation or is it extreme charisma? Are they the same? Are they different? Her charisma is so high that she can make people think and feel particular ways. But you can also see when the mask is removed. She's like, oh my gosh, hi, Prepotente, hi, everyone. And then there are times where she's like, God, Jamal, stop being such a jar jar. So she has these cracks in her facade a lot of the time. She can be catty. She's a cat. She's catty by nature. And you can just tell those moments where she is just channeling Beatrice because at the end of the day, that's her mum, right? Rocco says Donut really grew so much in character after the war crime and it's both amazing and sad. Yep. Pine says not closed yet, though Kiki has a role to play in her downfall. What? Alicia says, do you guys like the mini stories of the crawlers who took deals? I feel like it was good commentary on how community can help heal even when going through terrible things. I do like the greater impact that we are seeing of crawlers and the impact that Carl and Donut have way more outside the small kind of group that they're in. They have rippling positive impacts on people. And I do like that. Geordie says, it is interesting how much happens when she's not with Carl. I sometimes wonder if it's actually Donut protecting Carl and not the other way around. You notice, though, when Carl's on the fritz, he starts petting Donut. And that almost is like his meditation. That's what centers him. That's what grounds him as well. Lopez says, favorite scene so far. Since you're new to this, let me give you your first princess lesson on being a princess. Lesson 1, don't put yourself in situations where you're so afraid that you piss yourself. It shows a lack of decorum. Damn. And then Chandra looked. That was it. That's the moment that she had her, the fact that she looked. Because it's like, you didn't do it, but you checked. You looked. So yeah, Donut has the upper paw for sure. Academic said, I love the mini stories of crawlers. I can't wait to see the mini stories of NPCs. Toaster says, I think the Donut was backed into a corner and she doesn't mind taking her gloves off anymore because the dungeon has pushed her beyond her limits. Yes, and remember that one time where it really shows and Carl, you can hear him feel a bit let down about it. So, and we're keeping conversation to the first half of the book, everyone. But there is a moment where they don't know what to do with Osvaldo. And Carl's like, we can't do it. And Donut basically just resigns to the fact, well, it's now or later. So we may as well just get it done. And Carl's just kind of like, oh, Donut. And he kind of feels like he's losing her to the dungeon as well. But we see Carl have his flaws and his moments as well. When the One Fine Pig truck just completely ran over all the NPCs, reversed, and then ran back over them. So you know it was intentional. Carl fucking loses it. Now, does it make sense? Absolutely. Carl has been pushed to a point, and they were the solution. They forked out all this money to get these hired mercenaries to help with the challenge, because that was the thing that was causing a lot of friction. And this team just eradicates them. And Carl's like, I'm trying to protect you. I don't like you, and I'm trying to keep you alive. And then you just completely sabotage me. And he comes in. Now, Carl is 6'4". His strength stat is through the roof. And we've seen him kind of have a physical check-in where he's like, whoa, I can pick up a table and break it. Like, I am strong. And he just kind of rips the doors off and he's punching this van. And he's got his gauntlet on and he's raging out. And it's both Amani and Donut that, like, he can't even hear them yelling at him. He's just seeing red. Rocco says, I am absolutely on Carl's side on this. I was livid when I read that part in the book. It was incredibly satisfying to see his crash out. Yes, because it was directed at a person where it was warranted. But what about other crash outs that could happen? Is Carl a risk to those around him, knowing that this can happen? Have we seen other crash outs that we haven't clocked yet because it was channeled into a dungeon? A surprise road waffle, new achievement. Oh, says Toaster Poster. Vaden, thoughts?
Oh yeah, he definitely had other crash outs. In the past, we haven't really seen it as much recently, but he's had that. He's just had a thing where he said on the river in his mind. So I don't know why I'm echoing. Whatever. But yeah. Basically, he's had those.
Talk to me.
Sorry, I'm just echoing.
It's through Maude speakers.
I'm turning it up because I can't hear you guys. But then if I turn it down, there's no echo.
But yeah, I was just saying that, like, he's had those crash outs before with when the river was running overload on him and he couldn't keep it in.
Yes. And the more he used the Ring of Divine Suffering, the more it was kind of like churning through him. Do you guys want to know another minor maybe spoiler? No? Oh my God, Academic just went, yeet! Opt out now. I'm going to talk about it for 30 seconds.
Spoiler or
Endgame spoiler, maybe?
Oh,
Maybe?
no.
Oh, Darren's gone as well. Matt got a tattoo. There you go. I'm going to preface by talking about that. Matt got a tattoo. It's on his arm right now. It is a half sleeve. Matt got a tattoo. The tattoo is of it's not called the elder tree. What is the tree? That tree where the river also kind of runs through, but they've been mentioned. Not the oak fell tree. There's another tree. The all tree. Matt got the all tree tattooed onto his arm. That's all I'm going to say. That's all. Spoilers over. You're good. You can come back. They're not even looking. They're on their phones. I'm done. I said it. It was a minor spoiler. All right. Cool. If anyone wants to talk shit about Academic and Darren, now's the time to do it. If you guys wanted to air some dirty laundry, it's laundry day according to Donut. If you guys just wanted to get anything out there at all, they are here and not here at all. Have you talked about it in your YouTube interview with Matt? I talked about the fact that he was getting the tattoo. Yes, he was getting the tattoo. But yeah. That's all. Okay, no, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I said it. I said all I needed to say. Okay, so what we know about is the NPCs are starting to wake up. Samantha's starting to figure out what's happening before as well. Past iterations of different crawls, they're starting to remember. They're recognizing that they are a pawn in this. Another new addition is the fact that people, if you kill an enemy, you can choose to have them be represented at a future parade. And we don't know really what that's about, but that's a new thing that's happening. What else is happening in this one that we haven't had before? Alicia says, I really love secretly complimenting people when they can't hear me and they get so upset because they think I'm talking trash. I've done that as well. Gosh, they're so nice. Don't you just love it when like their presence is around you because they make you feel better? Ugh, so cool. I love being their friend. It's the best shit ever. Vaden goes, at least I think that's what you did. That's sweet. Oh, Rocco just took it and ran. No. I typed in the Jacobus Danish into Google Translate regarding the Tigrans and the pig, and he says, I hate tigers too. They only have 30 teeth if you pay me. Or if you let me F the pig, I'll make their skulls explode. Holy shit, Jacobus is absolutely deranged. That's fun. This is the thing. You want him on your team. You want Samantha on your team. You want Jacobus on your side. Yeah, it's all over. It's all over. We're good. No more. Okay, so what else is happening in this book that we really liked so far? A couple of people are taking a little bit of a backseat. We've got Ellie. Oh, Akuma. Let's talk about Akuma. So they were introduced in the faction wars. They are war mages that have basically become kind of like code in the crawl. Like there's a thing that they'd gotten killed a particular way or too many times, and then like it evolved. Aaron.
Best example I can think of for the war mages, they're basically like Agent Smith when he got disconnected from the Matrix, so he's his own independent entity that still exists within the system.
Yes, Bartleby Prime is using the term re-sleeved, which is what they called it. So this was not by the AI's design. They are operating on their own accord. The gods at this stage are operating on their own accord as well, because the AI was never really supposed to have ownership over the gods. And so now they're just like in charge and doing their own thing. And that's what the post epilogue in book 6 was, right? Talking about the fact that the gods were kind of no longer controlled by the AI and doing their own thing. Akuma, says KP, what a poser. I'm 10 times the mage he wishes he was. All right. A new theme that I would like everyone to pay attention to and talk about right now is trust. They are in a competition. It is technically being run by the AI. Is the AI on their side? And it kind of depends on the AI's mood with Carl, whether Carl's playing nice, good boy or not. The AI has its own agenda and always will. Akuma is separate from the AI and separate technically from the dungeon. Can you trust Akuma? Now, Akuma has already tried to kill Ellie. Akuma tried to steal the feral gate. We don't really know where they lie or if there's trust there. The other one is, can you trust what's going on with the Pineapple Cabaret, this exit strategy that's been talked about? And another one is, can you trust Eris? Eris, who is a god, who's technically not playing by AI's rules. Eris is the goddess of chaos. Eris wants to watch the world burn so she can laugh and have fun and dance in the flames. Knowing that the AI is trying to make it an entertaining program, knowing that Akuma is not part of the AI, but don't know Akuma's agenda. Eris is not part of the AI, don't know her agenda. And the prototype, how did we first learn about the Pineapple Cabaret, by the way? How did that information come about? That was Akuma, right? Aaron.
Technically, Growler Gary with the AI in the previous book with him, Orin, and Carl.
So Growler Gary / AI, the AI talked about this sort of back entrance, this escape route, so to speak. Akuma is aware of it now as well, but Akuma wants Carl to kill some NPCs, essentially so that he has to choose between saving his friends and killing his friends. So Akuma wants Carl between a rock and a hard place, hence him smashing his nose. Ellie didn't like the fact that Akuma tried to kill her last book, so she froze and smashed a testicle. I hope it wasn't your favorite one. I didn't know guys have favorite nuts. That's news to me. As a woman, I was reading that and I was like, oh, do you guys just like pick and choose? Oh, the left one's my favorite one today. Oh, I just don't know. I guess, do we do that about our boobs? I'm not sure. This is a greater question to have. Probably not on stream live, but makes you think. This is what my brain does when I listen to books. That's why I miss things. It seems to be a Matt thing. Okay, good to know. So trust. If you were a crawler, where would you place your trust the most? Do you think the AI has the most trust? Eris, Akuma, or yeah, I guess they're the three. Which of these who's telling you information do you think is the most correct? This one didn't get published because you wrote testicle out in full, but Rocco says, I don't have a favorite one, but one hurts more than the other if it gets hit. Rocco, that's what we call an overshare. I feel like we're oversharing with that one. I am sorry that you have experienced both getting hit, though. It sounds very painful. Ginger and the Foxes just showed up in the TikTok. What's up, ladies? I mentioned you earlier. Your ears must have been burning. I was talking about the fact that you were at the Nashville show and that you recorded all the Q&A, and I'm directing people over to check out your videos because they've been doing really, really well. And it was really fun that you were able to capture all of the show because everyone should be seeing it, really. We're talking about the first half of Parade of Horribles. Morrigan says, I love how powerful and confident Donut is. Oh, I think I saw that somewhere else pop up and I read it out already. KP Dub says, gingers. Kidding. Blame Matt. Yep. Matt picked a fight with all gingers. Let's see if he wins or not. Tom says, man, that is a tough choice. Eris is probably 100% truthful, but leaving out key details. Akuma is the only out for himself, and the AI is just plain crazy. The thing about Eris, though, she's the goddess of unpredictability and chaos. She will lie effortlessly with conviction if it means stirring the pot. I don't trust Eris because I don't know what would be a lie or whatever is protruding chaos. She does not have my best interest at heart because she wants chaos. So no, I don't think I could trust her. Aaron and then Vaden.
Oh, do you know like the actual myth behind Eris, the Greek goddess?
No.
This is the question. So, fun little fact, Eris is technically the one who started the Trojan War. The story was she wasn't invited to some wedding, so she's basically pulling a Maleficent. She gets a golden apple and just throws it into the party and with a note saying, give to like the most beautiful goddess or something like that. And Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite both grab it and they all three want it. So they go to Zeus. Hey, you pick which one of us is the most beautiful or whatever. Zeus, being smart, is like, I'm not picking this. It's my daughter, my wife, and whatever the hell Aphrodite is, depending on the myth.
The goddess of love and seduction. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like he points them to Paris, who's like, on some mountaintop, being a shepherd, and he makes a choice. And Hera and Aphrodite and Athena basically give him options like, if you pick me, I'll give you this. And he eventually picks Aphrodite. So that's what leads to her getting Helen for Paris, which then leads to the Trojan War, which leads all that death and destruction.
And Eris got exactly what she wanted. Chaos.
Exactly, by messing with everybody for not inviting her to a wedding.
Petty.
It was basically a golden holy hand grenade apple is what that was.
So Alicia says, I 100% do not trust gods. Every freaking mythology teaches us that. I ain't trusting Eris. Now, does Eris have a crush on Carl? And is that something that she's trying to hang over? Hey, wake up. Maybe. Akuma, see, I feel like I'm on my own with Akuma. Now, is he out for himself? Yes. Could you ally with him? Possibly. He's almost the blind spot with the AI. No, you don't think so? I don't think you can trust any of them. Vaden.
So, yeah, I agree that you can't trust any of them for sure. But of those, I would trust Akuma the most because the AI, Carl can't control at all, really. Like, he has no, basically, it's about leverage, right? He has no real leverage over AI. He has no real leverage over Eris. He has some leverage over Akuma, in part because of Ellie, like, literally icing one of his testicles off and just generally putting him in a bad position. So at least there's something you can say they have leverage over, but the other ones, there's nothing. So
That's a good point. I was just reading the chat over on TikTok. Uzi G's is quoting, if he thinks gingers are bad, he's never met a Latina. That's, yeah. He said that's goated. Insert pony scream line. Ah! The AI says that the information given by Eris is probably true and she rarely lies. Why bother with lying when the truth is often much worse? So we trust Eris, but know that she's going like wherever. See, the problem is Carl has been marked by Eris. And we are seeing more and more that anywhere Carl goes, shit follows, right? Like the noise, like my temperature check was, we asked a really, really great question in the Q&A in Nashville, and you can see the Q&A in a video form on Ginger and the Fox's account. Someone asked, is Carl a reliable narrator? And Matt says, absolutely not. And Matt says, pay attention to the people around Carl and how they are reacting to him. And it's Ellie that makes it the most obvious to me. And it's Ellie constantly being like, God damn it, Carl. Like, we can't take you anywhere, essentially. She's just like, there's always something, and it always is you. Like, everything you touch turns to shit. And it doesn't matter what they're doing. They could be on a great path, but then all of a sudden, Carl's dragging a god in with Eris somehow, or there's something else that's happening, or there's a quest that's unlocked just to fuck him up. And Ellie is the one who's just like, come on, dude, stop it. So that's kind of how you know that Carl has, because you hear his good intentions, but he is hurting the people around him just by proximity. Aaron?
I also think it's because Carl, knowing that he needs to keep constantly asking questions and getting information, every time he starts asking questions and getting more information, that's when a new quest pops up because he now is aware of something he wasn't aware of before, and now he has to deal with it.
Darren said it best. Carl is going to Carl it up. And that was Katya's term. Katya was super close as well. And she's like, Carl, you may have good intentions, but you're going to Carl it up somehow. And you also hear Carl be like, oh, I got an idea. And everyone's like, oh, God. Saved by the Boom says, yeah, he is, but he's the only reason that they're alive. I know. And we, the reader, have all the grace for Carl because we are in his head and we really know that he's trying and he has made some great decisions. Are they crazy ideas? Absolutely. But are they working? Yes. Now, I want to know who's in Carl's corner, not as far as the crawlers, but the AI had the hots for Carl for a long moment. And someone said earlier that, was it Bartleby, I believe, said that the AI initially put Carl's best foot forward. Sorry, it was the little pinky. The Carl was fetishizing Carl. I mean, the AI was fetishizing Carl. And honestly, it was working for a moment. And even Donut's like, come on, Carl, if he wants you to squish little rodents, fucking start squishing. Like, if the AI likes you, that is a good thing. And it did. And then Carl didn't keep playing nice. And so then the AI is just like, well, fuck you. And you can see ways where the AI is starting to turn on Carl. And that is not a place that you want to be. But Carl's integrity he hates feeling like a puppet. He hates feeling like it's a dance monkey situation. Time to pay the daddy tax, right? Exactly. Bartleby Prime and Occult Stool. And Alicia. Yep, you're all saying that one. Academic says a good chunk of the proletariat of the universe are probably in Carl's corner. Well, look at his sponsors, right? He's also got all of the previous cookbook authors, the ones that are still alive, are in his corner. Rosetta and Tippett are still in the dungeon. They went back into the dungeon to be mercs to help him out. So yeah, they're absolutely in his corner. And that was just a luck of the draw because he happened to choose that particular cookbook. And now he's getting all the information that he can. And I think that Carl needed an outside source because they're the only ones that A, have either lived through it, or B, know what's happening. And they're a great source of information of what's happened previously. Boom says, I think Eris is in his corner. As she said, he's the perfect agent of chaos. That is true. He's the one that's going to throw a spanner in the works, as I like to say, or a wrench if you're here. Ginger says, I love the then several things happened at once. And that is happening a little bit more and more because Carl does something and the ricochet effect is immediate where the dominoes start falling. Morrigan says, we trust Eris to cause chaos. That is the only trust that we can allow, pretty much. Yep. Eris kind of seems like Loki, says Uzi Jesus. Uzi Jesus, you make a comeback as well in a smaller form with Eris. So well done, you. That's really great. That's the thing. If the character is well received, they get a cameo. Rocco says, I feel like Carl and the AI have a very toxic relationship. Like a couple that say that they're each other's king or queen, but then they also crap on each other to everyone else. Yes, but the AI is also like financially abusive, right? It's like the one where it's like he can't ever leave because what's he going to do? So it is, yeah, it's a very toxic relationship. That is a gentle way to say it. The AI is transactional. The AI and Carl's relationship is completely one-sided. Yes. Toaster says, Justice Light, the PM, might be in his corner. She seems firm but fair. Firm but fair is my mantra. Justice Light is trying her best. Yes. Like Oren as well. Is Oren someone to be trusted? Or like Oren is HR. Oren is HR. You think that they're on your side, but they have the corporation's best interest at heart. But you feel like you can talk to them and be like, hey, so-and-so is not playing fair. And they're like, okay, we're hearing you. We're going to propose something. I would take this deal. It's a very, very good deal. And Oren, he just fucks Oren off because he's like, no, you still work for the machine. No. I trust Oren way more than Prime Minister Victory. Why is that? It's not Justice Light. Justice Light is a previous crawler, right? Victory is the Prime Minister. Yep. Clocked it. No, you're muted. Yeah.
Is that better?
It is.
There we go. I believe that Oren has shown himself to be a lot more empathetic to Carl as the crawler and the crawlers in general ever since, I want to say, book 3? Book 4?
I think Oren respects Carl. But I don't think he's there to help him.
I think that Prime Minister Victory does not care about. I agree with you, but I think Prime Minister Victory is more transactional than Oren is. I think that if it came down to the end of it and there is no more buttons to press, Oren sort of says, all right, let's let the crawlers do the thing, and Prime Minister Victory is like, I don't care, nuke the crawlers just so that maybe
100%.
on a chance.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Snowcat Wizard. Appreciate it. Justice Light was the one who took out the bottom tunnels with the traps. He's basically the one who set all the gods free. He went out with a bang.
Took out the nothing.
Took out the nothing, which was containing all the gods, right? Starts
All
getting
the
a little
bad
convoluted.
ones.
He broke the nothing. Yeah. Okay.
You let loose all the crazy ones that were like locked away.
Modern Maven is in here saying, as HR, I agree. Lol. Game Wizard says that Quasar is also in his corner. Yes. Quasar has actually been... Hey, stop licking your paws, my love. Quasar has been... I thought he came across like, oh my God, you lucked out. Like, this is lucked out. You have bottomed out your luck because he seems like this is his third case, you know? But Quasar is pulling through. Quasar is a great example of the universe. Stop making me say this name. I can't say it, this word. I can't say it effortlessly yet.
Proletariat.
Proletariat?
Yeah, proletariat. There you go. Proletariat. Look at her. She's becoming... Alicia says, I love Quasar and his ridiculous ties. KP says, I think everyone is in it for themselves, except maybe a handful of the crawlers and former crawlers. So no, you cannot trust any of them. You can only form tenuous alliances and hope that you betray them before they betray you. This is the thing, though. The greatest form of entertainment and what they've been doing cycle after cycle after cycle is a battle royale, right? So you are conditioned to believe that everyone must die out for fun, or like you are testing people. We've seen tragedies where it's like a sponsor was leading their prized crawler on an empty goose hunt, knowing that it would just be entertaining, and they were the punchline. Their death was the punchline. So you couldn't even trust your sponsors to keep you alive. Like, there's just a lot of tragedy that happens here. Jason says even Rosetta put her personal revenge when she had the chance. Yeah. Yep, she took out a huge key figure in the bigger world, the bigger universe side of things. Aaron says the sponsor used them as one big advertisement at the expense of the crawler's life. Yep. So that's why, after hearing this time and time again from the different crawlers and, like, you know, understanding it, by the time we get to level 10, I thought that there would be a lot more against them, so to speak, instead of just a race. I thought that there would be a lot more gotchas. Like, you know what happened when Jack, the elderly man, peed on the wall, and then the level 12 rage elemental there? It's like tricking them into taking the wrong step, tricking them into like trying to kill them time and time again. I just thought we'd be seeing a little bit more of that. Academic says, you know what I've missed? Audette's plotting and storyline in the book so far. That's a great who do you trust? Because Audette genuinely has said and done a lot to help Carl. She has been an informant. She has saved Beatrice to not be used against them. She has done and used her position of power to really, really help them, and does benefit from them being alive. So does have motive of keeping them alive, but she will always be out for herself as well. Mordecai, can we trust Mordecai? Like, probably the one that you can trust the most is Mordecai. But Mordecai's in a place where he's never been to level 10. He's completely out of his depth and has been more and more every level. So it's like, you can trust him, but he can't help nearly as much as he's been able to help to this point. Aaron?
My thought is with Odette is I think she is helping, but because she's now in the Ascendancy games, she's doing her own thing there to like maybe help keep the playing field level-ish for when the crawlers get there, if they get there, of course.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
To 12. Yeah, her end game's
12,
always
yeah.
been 12 because she wants to fulfill her personal vendetta of that other woman who fucked her over.
Which, of course, she's now dead. What's her name?
That's right. That was the end of the last book, wasn't it? Or the book before?
Yep. Because that's what allowed Katya to then go
Ascend.
up top. Yep. Because
Herself,
they
yes.
basically like did the Laundry Day spell, got her out of her soul armor, and then do the...
Geordie makes a really
like,
good point that Odette actually told Carl to not trust her. Now, does that make you more trustworthy, saying don't trust me? Or does that reveal, or does that, it makes you more trustworthy to say don't trust me?
She said don't trust anybody until you know what their motivations are.
And she said myself included, no? She looped herself into it.
She did.
So, do you trust Mordecai more than Odette?
Yeah, for sure. But I also trust Odette more
Odette.
than most of the other people that we've talked about. Odette, yeah, Odette. Because I think that was sort of a nod to, like, it was another Odette signal to Carl so that he can look into what her past is and sort of gain that trust, and also a heads up to, like, hey, look at all these other places. Like, I think this was right after the AI had granted Carl the heads of all of the mothers of the people that he would be against in the on the games, the ninth floor.
I was reading the quotes. I wish I could do three things at once. I do. I have a chat in front of me. I'm reading the quotes from the document. Academic's probably spitting some facts about Odette.
Like a Clockwork Moth thing.
If only.
I just want to throw in, though, I think Mordecai is easily the most trustworthy. He's the most genuine, but he doesn't know anything anymore. He's on the floor with them, and he's out of his league. So
Yes.
while you can trust him, his knowledge only goes so far, and I think that's a big factor.
He's stopped being a game guide and is now their potion master. And the amount of times he's like, I can brew a potion for that. You're going to need that. Let me get that for you. Here's a potion, da da da. So now that's how he's the asset. It's not as like an informant or, you know, what do you know about it? Because there's times where it's like things come up and he's like, I don't even know what this is. I've never heard of it before. But he's also like, while you're out there, can you collect all of these rare ingredients for me? Which is not helpful, but the potions that he's getting from it, that's such a boon. I wish we learned a little bit more about Miss Tiartha, who is Ellie's manager, because she was drunk and like not an asset for a lot of it, and she was really envious that Mordecai was actually a good game guide. But Mistress Tiartha. Mistress Tiartha is helping Ellie become complete the 4 seasons pass, which wouldn't have happened. Or yeah, KP.
Yeah, let's not forget that any of the game guides, a lot of the NPCs are former crawlers who took deals when they got out on 10 or 11.
Mhm.
And so if they're in there like Mordecai and Tiath are right now, and they're seeing that this may be the first chance to get beings out of the crawl in a better position than just taking deals and being indentured for 1,000 years, I do think they are trustworthy in that if they think that Carl's and Donuts and all their plans could work, they will
have
try to
shared
help.
trauma. Yeah.
Yeah.
They lived through their pain and suffering.
They know what the crawlers are doing because they did it. And so I do think they're trustworthy, at least for the most part.
I love that. Academic brings up
I was just going to say, as opposed to like Odette, some of the crawlers who've been out for centuries, maybe they got used to the citizenship in the syndicate or whatever, and they are out just for themselves. So it's tough to say
Odette
on them.
also has a financial stake in all of this. She gets advertising for putting on interviews with these 2 popular crawlers. So the better they do, the higher they rank, the more popular they are, the more money she banks. Like they're a financial asset to her. Bottom line. Academic makes a great point. Mordecai has now become one of the things that Rend is deathly allergic to and kills Rend. And now cheese, or is it chicken, is going to kill Rend? Fuck, did I spoil?
Potatoes.
Potatoes!
Boil them, mash them, cook them in a stew.
That is devastating that potatoes are going to take him out.
And that entire truck is just filled with it, and it just keeps all the French fries, and they just keep having to take it out, but they can't because it keeps regenerating.
Yep, Ren's done for. Oh, Ren, we hardly knew you. He was an MVP of the last book. I think Odette's financial stake is the same as Porthos's financial stake. How so?
I think that Odette has sort of built her empire in the same sort of vein that Porthos did. Porthos became financially stable so that he could sponsor the one crawler that could break the crawl, right? And I think Odette had very similar aims. She was never a cookbook author. They would never identify her as a cookbook author, but in my heart, she is an honorary cookbook member. She's a crawler through and through.
Barbie says maybe that's because of the whole Maude the Meatball thing. He found your favorite character. Listen, Garrett. Garrett was a good boy. Okay, people are weighing in. Matt loves Quasar, so I'm sure he's going to be fine. He talked about wanting to write about him. Odette will have a big role in the next book, maybe? Question mark. This is just theorizing. Odette makes money off the crawl, says Snowcat Wizard. Does she have the same goal as Carl? At first, I thought so. Ginger trusts Mordecai more than Odette. Great discussions. I would read a whole legal comedy book just of Quasar if Matt wrote that. He's joked about writing that. He actually has spoken that he would do that. But he wishes he was a lawyer to do it better. Geordie wants more of the Mordecai Odette Choco backstory. So they did touch upon it, where essentially they decided to sacrifice Mordecai's brother so that they got through to the next floor. It became a choice of them or him, and they chose themselves. And Mordecai never forgave him for that. Book 6 prologue is that backstory, says Academic. So we're halfway through the book. As some final thoughts, what are you hoping to get out of the second half of the book? We know that it's Donut and Carl in races, trying to make sure that the NPCs stay alive so that they're not put against the other crawlers. But because this is book 8, whose story do you want to learn more about? I really wish by this point we learnt more about Lucia Marr. I feel like she's been such a secondary character. She almost gets further and further away. I would love a check-in with Katya somehow. I feel like we've got Jurgen, or whatever the Danish guy's name is, who thinks that his pregnant wife is with him still. But I think that there's a tie between her still kind of like being privy to the dungeon, and that's why Jurgen is trying to keep Lucia Marr alive, because she thinks that maybe like there's something at play there. KP Dub says, look, a karaoke bar has been mentioned. This book cannot finish without developing that. Correct. I would like to learn more about Lena and Ellie, says Vaden. Lucia and Mordecai both are really are people I want to learn more about, says Rocco. What do you think's sort of like been unfinished business? Alicia says, I don't think Carl is going to save the kids till the final book. To me, it's the most emotionally weighty conflict. Academic says, I want to see Drakia's crawl. What happens in Drakia's level? It's the sentient one?
Drakia is the previous cookbook author, the one right before Carl, and she's the one that made the Nagas become insolvent.
Good. Vaden says Florin. I want to learn more about Florin. Florin had a really interesting character development in book 3 with Lucia killing his girlfriend and being tricked in that way, and then recognizing and getting over his own revenge pursuit to side with her because he now has a lot of empathy and realizes what's at stake. I thought that was really cool. Would love to see more of it. Absolutely. KB Dubs asks, where is Agatha? Now, Akuma knows that she's around, and Akuma knows that Agatha wants him dead. He thinks that Agatha is going to unleash all of the epic nasties that were in the Nothing. It was Agatha all along. Thank you, Academic. What are you hoping to get out of the second half of the book? Now, who here has read my Goodreads review of this book? Okay. Whatever. So let's talk about Carl's master plan. I'm listening to it the second time, so I know the foreshadowing. You know that Carl's working on a plan, right? Has anyone got any inkling of what he's talking about? Do you know that Carl's working on a plan? Carl's always got a plan. There is a key moment. He says that a quest is really important. Do you know what the quest is?
Are you talking about them trying to get the pig?
He mentions the pig. He also mentions the Manta who's half vertical.
Porky and Corky.
Yep. Yes, Bartleby. He also has to kill Helic. So this is the thing. He's like, oh my God, I'm in a lose-lose situation with my quest to kill Helic. Because if I kill Helic, this will happen. If I kill the other person, then this will happen. And if I kill this person, this is going to happen. There's a lose-lose. A quest has surfaced about the half Manta. They basically have to get a flesh Manta to reinstate him because he's been split in two, and it's him and his other personality, and they've got to combine him again. Yep. So there's something going on with protect the pig. There's something going on with the Manta being split with the quest. There's all these things happening. Carl is kind of forging something and he's seeing priorities. No one's got nothing. Okay. It is interesting seeing it be addressed now that I know Endgame.
Yeah.
There is good foreshadowing.
There's a lot going on with gods. The pig is like worshipped by, or like loved by a god. Carl worships a god. He's got a quest to kill a god. there's 4 or 5 gods at this point that like he kind of needs to kill almost simultaneously to avoid getting smited by all the other gods. So somehow, some way, he's working on that. I just don't think we know what it is yet.
Rereading this, I love books that you get value reading it a second time. I love books that give you, and I call it rereadability, and with video games, it's replayability. I think that is such a strength of creating something that nothing is one and done, that like you get value a second time. KP says this series is very rereadable. Bartleby says it's never going to be a good thing to stitch together a manta. Something terrible has to happen. The fact that it's like, oh, and his intestines are starting to ooze out. You're just like, gross, dude. I will say, though, there's something up with mantas because this is the 4th iteration. Womantar, manta up and down, manta. We haven't had that. We've had anything but a minotaur. We haven't had a bull up top, person down the bottom. We've had manta, a double torsoed manta, a womantar. Who on the NPCs are you digging and who do you hate? Alcold is saying, I love the how do you kill a god before level 12 when you can't kill a god until level 12 conundrum. Yeah, right? Aaron says, I hate the unicorn dude. That's Dwight. Academic says, right in the nugget. Can we play that soundbite, please? It's my favorite one. KP Dubs is furious.
Yeah, bitch! Right in the nugget! Right in the nugget! Right in the nugget!
So nice. We heard it thrice. Well done, guys. We do quotes. I've said, what's your favorite quote? And everyone yells out there, I am yelling, Carl is getting a lot of legs at the moment. Mine is, yeah, bitch, right in the nugget. Yes, Aaron.
I like that if you have the hardcover book, the very front of it is a Slugalo quote.
Yes.
Unity, support, family, and kneecapping bitches.
I love Biggs. Biggs is great. Biggs and Samantha is like a duo. Yeah.
When I saw that, when I opened it up, I was like, I know I'm going to be in a good time with this book if that's what's on the cover.
Alicia says, oh my God, when they talk about the womantar's hand foot crushing the beer can in her boot, I felt that. Did anyone go to the end of the acknowledgements section of the book yet? I asked you at the beginning of the show to have a look in the acknowledgements. If you've got the copy, if you've got a physical copy of it, grab it, go to acknowledgements, and go to about 2/3 of the way down the page. Whose name do you see?
I wonder who it is.
Did you just name drop your own name?
Yes. Yes, I did. Yes, I did, because who else is going to do it? Oh my gosh, the real
Well
Ray
done.
Porter just dropped on by. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Hi, Mr. Ray Porter. Thanks for dropping by my book club. Where in the world are you at the moment? Hey, mate. I can hear how you're saying it as well. I can hear it. Hi, mate. So funny. I'm wrapping things up at the moment here. Wow, Lieutenant Ginger, can I just shout you out? 233 comments in this stream. I love that. Where in the world is Ray Porter, Diego? Where is Ray Porter today? Ray Porter today. Back in LA from space. That's fun. That looked fun. That is all the time we have for Maude's Book Club, I'm afraid. Thank you so much for joining me for a chat of A Parade of Horribles. We spoke about chapters 1 to 47. Your homework is to finish the book. We will reconvene same time next week. Also, gotta get started on Song of Achilles because we will be doing the whole book the following week. Now, just for size understandings, the half a book of A Parade of Horribles is about the same as one whole Song of Achilles. So it should take you roughly the same time to do those. But if you need to catch up, get started real quick. 5 to 7 p.m. PT, I triple stream on Twitch, on TikTok and on YouTube. So pop on by to any of those. The VODs are available on Twitch and then for goodsies on YouTube if you ever want to go back and watch some of the episodes. It is 2 hours of me waffling, so you've been warned and prepared. I am going to try and do a little bit of a more concise recap about what we talked about in these shows so we can pass on like the community cliff notes. What a great name! Write that down. We are also on Fable. Thank you so much, Lisa. We've got a book club and a bonus book club for that. Just look up Maude's book club or bonus book club and they'll pop up. This is a really cool way to talk about each chapter you've read with the community to avoid spoilers and having like people talking about things as you go along. We are on Discord as well. Drop that Discord link. Oh, you already did? Gosh, you're good. Well done, Lisa. I sort of forgive you now. Happy 3 years as a mod, by the way. The Discord is where we have our headquarters. It's where I post the schedules. It's where we chat books 24/7. So jump on in for that one. We have already selected July's pick. We will be continuing the Stormlight Archive, book 5. So sorry that we're doing 2 series consecutively back to back. We will try to have other standalones because Wind and Truth is like War and Peace. We're only doing the one book. We'll split it into 3 parts is my guess. Maybe not, depends. I might be doing conventions and I haven't booked or have no idea yet, but TBD, guys, TBD. I'll see you all in the Discord. It's been an absolute pleasure hanging out. I got game night tonight, so I gotta be off. But make sure you're subscribing to wherever you're watching this right now so that we can do this same time next week and talk about all the spoilers of Parade of Horribles. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks for people participating. I appreciate you all. I should raid. Ugh. That's uncomfortable for everyone who's